welcome back. We are now almost to the end of this Illness Wellness Continuum. We have Eddie Wilson here. He is our pro stud when it comes to the powerlifting world and the bodybuilding world and all that kind of thing. So today we're going to be talking about the good health part of our spectrum with the continuum of illness to wellness. And this is the area where people have a good health, good idea of like good nutrition, but they don't know how to take it to that next level into becoming a really good selected athlete, or really good into their field, like really good into powerlifting, or really good into going to MMA. So Eddie is going to be a fantastic selection into adding really good knowledge for us. And so Eddie, first of all, can you tell us a little bit, like explain like who you are, and then tell us a little bit what you've done in the past and what you currently are doing in your field.
Sure. So I compete as a bodybuilder. I compete naturally. So I've been doing it for about 10 years now, and I'm getting ready to do a national show. And so you know, persistence more than anything for me has gotten me to where I am on my level. I'm kind of at the top of the amateur level right now, and more than anything, you know, the persistence of you know, every day getting up, having the goals, you know, putting one foot in front of the other, and actually just doing it over time. That's the biggest thing in this, is being able to do that every day. That's the only thing that really, that anybody really has to grasp a hold of. When you can do that, you can find, you know, the way to get through. But so for me, you know, bodybuilding has been a savior in my life, because I never knew I'd fall in love with the sport of bodybuilding. But it's been great for me. You know, I lost my father in 2009, and so I wanted to get healthy. And so I ended up at a YMCA in Port Charlotte, Florida, and I met some good people who motivated me, and so that's kind of my story. But more than anything, I think the fitness lifestyle, a lot of people are scared of taking that next step, or that, you know, this is going to be a hard thing to do. You know, more than anything, it's just be persistent. You know, one day at a time, and I tell everybody that, one day at a time, and you know, you get to your goals. So.
And you think about it too, is that a lot of people, when they look at you, they talk about Nathan, or even in the past they talk about Kyle when he's really training hard for his MMA, they say, oh, those guys are just genetically gifted. It's easy for them.
Sure.
Oh, blah, 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 blah. But they don't really know like the dedication and the sacrifice it takes.
Absolutely.
So it just fill people in like big time on that. Like, what is it to really need to sacrifice for what you're trying to do?
Well, you know, doing the things that people don't see you do. You know, they see the finished product in the gym. They see the chiseled body and the guy over here who looks great, but they don't see the time and the effort and the nutrition and the planning, you know, the food prep. You know, you're dealing with your family when you're prepping for a show, in my case. So, you get a little hangry from time to time. You know, you cut the carbs out of your diet, and you're starving most of the time.
And it's not like a 3-hour kind of thing.
No, not at all.
It's all day long.
Days at a time, you know. But you know, I think anybody should know that you can accomplish any goal, no matter how small or big, if you understand that it's going to take a little time, and you know, you have things you need to iron out along the way. So it's not a destination. It's not I'm going to be fit and then you get fit and it's over with.
Yeah.
You know, it's a maintenance mode. You know. And how far you want to carry that maintenance mode is up to you. You really can do what you want to do. You have no idea, you know. So.
And I think people get that mindset of, well, I can lose weight, sort of like, especially around we're talking here. So you see some of these guys that are,
sure.
And I don't want to be insulting to anybody in particular, but we call them the gym heroes. You know, the guys that are the buffest looking dude in the room.
Sure.
They all know Eddie. Oh, I knew Eddie. I'm best buddies with him. I worked out with him seven years ago. You know, because they all want to look like him. They all want to talk like him, but they don't know how to really get there. And so they're stuck in that rut, and they never can get to that next level. And so, what do you guys think? Your biggest things that you could give advice to people like that, to say this is the next step you need to do to take to get up to that, becoming that elite athlete in that field you're looking for.
I mean, I think just understanding, you get kind of set in the way of, oh, I'm comfortable. I can, you know, I come in here, I lift, I eat decent, but understanding that to get to that next level, you know, like when I was in college and I decided to start pursuing MMA, I mean, the first day I went to the gym, I was getting smoked. You know, understanding that it is not going to be easy. You are going to probably fail so many times. It is unreal. I'd go in, get beat up on a daily basis. You know, I'd get outlifted, I'd get outran, and then just cleaning up the eating. You know, okay, there's no more of this, no more of this. Trying to refine it so I can be in the best physical condition possible.
No more peanut butter rolls and chocolate pretzels.
No more chocolate pretzels or peanut butter rolls, but understanding that I'm not going to be able to just jump into it and be like, oh, I'm great now. You know, I mean, it was a real struggle, and I had to get out of my comfort zone in order to end up as it feels like.
That's the key. It's comfort zone.
Sure. It feels like a monumental task, and it is in a sense, but really, people don't know what they're capable of. If you're ready to make it to that next level, you really have it within you to just adjust a few things and stay persistent. And you can do that.
And I guess the big challenge, I mean, for me, for example, I say, man, I work out all the time, I do all this or I do all that, and I'm not perfect.
Right.
Oh, it's just my genetics. I mean, I think we're all made to do a certain thing really well.
Sure.
But we all have that, I guess the biggest thing, we can all talk about this, is image. We're at that point. The image is, you know, well, I want to be like Eddie, or I want to bench press like Nathan, or I want to be able to get in the fit shape like Kyle was. And it's all of, I don't want to be me. I don't want to be best in my field. I might be a fantastic runner, but I want to be the bodybuilder. You know, so like, explain for you, man. I'm really curious. Like, what was it that got you to become the big bencher, and what was really the point that clicked?
Discipline.
That said, hey, I know exactly what I want to be. So.
Discipline was the biggest part to me. The pain that I went through when I would be doing a 9-week program before a meet.
Yeah.
The suffering, I'm talking waking up with shoulder pains. I mean, that's just a part of it. But it was a good pain. It wasn't, it wasn't a, oh, I don't want to do this no more. It's just being disciplined. The set days that you're doing the bench that day and doing your program, you had to stick to that. That was important. Because if you missed the date, threw everything off.
Yeah.
It's a timely thing of 9 weeks. That day, that was when you lifted. If you missed a day, threw everything off.
Yeah.
So discipline was mine.
Discipline's big, you know.
It is.
You can ask for help all you want, and you can ask for motivation all you want. The only person who's really going to motivate you is yourself, and it's a decision, it's a choice. You get to make that choice or not make that choice. So,
Do you think it's fear that keep people away from doing it?
Absolutely. Change is hard for anybody. It's definitely psychological. Change is hard for anybody, but you have to realize that, and we know this too, that by failing, you will grow. You will learn. You have to fail in his sport, and in the sport I'm involved in. Failing is necessary. So you're not going to grow. And so people think, there's this monumental task. I have to do this and go through all these little things to get here. Well, you know what? Once you get started, you enjoy that process. You enjoy that process, and it's a choice. If you're going to do it, you'll do it. People do what they want to do, and it's always going to be that.
Yeah.
So decide you want to do something. If you want to get to that next level, decide you want to do it. Write down your goals, and it starts there. So.
Well, I think that people also need to understand when you talk about like image, like you see themselves, somebody may go, oh, well, I want to look just like Eddie, I want to be big, I want to be, and they may not understand not everybody's meant to be a bodybuilder. Everybody's genetics are different. Everybody's meant to do other things. So just as in my sport, I'm not going to be this huge hulking guy. I need to be quick. I need to be precise with what I'm doing. I've never been that big. I've been very cut up, had a lot of endurance, but that was my build for that particular job.
Exactly.
I think people need to understand whatever they're trying to pursue that's how their body's going to be based on what they pursue.
Yeah.
So,
I think one thing I was really curious about with you, we spoke a little bit about this a while ago when we were just in the middle of our conversations, just talking, and is like you talked about how your life changed.
Sure.
And so you talked before how you used to be really angry. And
Sure.
I'm like, I couldn't imagine that. I mean, you seem like this humble,
Sure.
happy,
Super
confident
ego
dude.
driven.
Yeah, and so
competitive.
what was that change, and how did fitness play a part in that, if you don't mind saying?
Well, I think that when people reach a certain level in fitness, regardless of the sport or what they do, when they reach that next level, that elite level, they start to understand things a little different. Intuitively, you start to learn things. But if you could be more specific with how you want me to kind of answer.
No, that's a good question. So, like, for example, like what? So what was the change? How did the sport help you
How did it help
change
me
into
to
you
change?
becoming who you
Okay,
are now?
sure, yeah.
So I guess that's the best way to explain
Yeah,
it.
well, you develop habits. You develop good habits. You know, you replace bad habits with good habits, and that's what happened with me. My father was sick for a while. He passed away, and of course, I was not healthy at all. So, you know, it was a major change to even get in the gym. I didn't know I was passionate about the sport. You know, but right off the bat, you know, I start to notice changes, you know, mentally as well as physically, you know, and then even spiritually with me, you know. So you know, just kind of free the mind, free the soul. You know, you get around good people. People in the gym are generally going to be really good people because they know sacrifice, regardless of how far they are in their progress. They know what sacrifice is generally, and so they can identify with everyone else. You know, they're not judgmental. The majority of people in the gym are supportive. You know, you see that, and a lot of people that come into this gym, you know, they don't understand that when they first get here. But like I said, you know, for me it was mentally, physically, emotionally, and meeting good people. I've met so many great people throughout my sport and the fitness world worldwide. So great professional people, and then, you know, just the normal guy on the street. So it's definitely, you know, 100% changed my life for the better.
And I think anything that where you're jumping to the next level in a sport or in fitness or anything, I think that just in general is a very humbling experience for a lot of people, because like I was talking about earlier, you know, walking into the gym, getting beat up on a daily basis. You know, you may have kids in high school who are like, oh, let's fight. We're gonna be, and then you get in a gym where everybody can beat you up.
Sure.
And you're at the bottom of the totem pole. And it's a very humbling experience.
Sure.
And
humbling and empowering as well, I believe.
Yeah.
And in any sport you do, I mean, you're gonna fail when you first start, and just using that to push you forward gives you almost a different outlook on, you know, things that you may have looked at differently.
Absolutely.
Earlier on.
Great points.
And a good way to transfer, let's say if you're an angry person, for example, it's a good way to transfer and deposit that energy to a more positive aspect.
Absolutely.
And you said something that's really interesting. Our continuum has been going like this, we've been discussing. But if you actually look at the whole wellness spectrum, you have spiritual in there.
Sure.
You have social in there is what you get. And a lot of people don't think it's more of a continual chain to link together instead of just a to Z kind of situation. It's a continual push. And but what happens is it's a cycle, I think. Sometimes if one's out, so if my spiritual's out or my social's out, it affects me in the gym.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It affects me how I react every day. So I think we have to even look at not just cleaning up ourselves to get to that next level, just the nutrition or cleaning up how hard I bench or how strong I am. It's looking more of, okay, who am I hanging around with?
Absolutely.
Yep,
I
absolutely.
mean, have I really been, for example, going to church? Have I really been focusing on, my loved ones in my life?
Sure.
And cleaning that up, really, I think sometimes, like what you're saying. I mean, you're
Sure,
living
absolutely.
proof. I mean, people love talking about you. You're an inspiration to people.
I was a
So-
wild kid, you know, and not a lot of discipline, you know, but you know, you kind of morph as you get older. You learn, and you know, I morphed into something, you know, positive. And for me, it's touching people's lives, meeting good people, and a lot of people have touched my life. You know, so you can't replace the relationships that you make in this world, the fitness world. So you know, just very grateful. But you're right. Spiritually, definitely spiritually. It's kind of like, you know, food for the soul. You know?
Yeah.
Food for the soul.
Yeah, really. I mean, and a lot of people don't think about how socially it can change you inside your fitness world if you're being healthy.
Sure.
That is a huge aspect, because if you're working out and you're going home and everyone's eating cheeseburgers, you're gonna eat cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and it's sort of hard, and then they can't relate with you.
Sure.
So, like for example, my area, I was really big into the CrossFit community. I did that for years. I built tons of gyms, and people would laugh at me. They'd say, "Oh, you're part of the cult." I had lost friends because they couldn't relate with me because my life and my culture was CrossFit. I hate CrossFit. I was gone crazy on CrossFit. Everything was CrossFit. So, you know, they do what's called the zone dieting. And we'll talk about that in a second about what you do. What we did with the zone dieting I mean, it broke down everything about what you have to do on certain points or certain foods. You could even go out to have a hamburger. Well, yeah, they cut the hamburger in half and have 5 French fries. That's what I can have. It's really weird. And my friends were making fun of me. They were like, measure my beer for me. Go, you can only have that. They got irritated at my point and going, I need to get rid of these people, or I'm going to just be the same for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Especially when I started competing, and that all had to change.
Sure, you want, like anyone, you want people around you to support you.
Yeah.
You know, who wants to hear negative, comments? You know, you get a lot of negative comments, but what you have to realize is, you're not going to live in someone else's head. You know, do what makes you happy.
Exactly.
First and foremost, do what makes you happy. Be good to people, and it'll reciprocate. It'll come right back. So misconceptions about the sport, misconceptions about lifting, and definitely the bodybuilding world. And that's been going on for a long time. But you're gonna have that. Keep doing what you do,
Yeah.
and you know what feels good. You know what's right. You know when you're doing something positive. So I can totally identify with misconceptions of sport.
And people think that you're a wackadoo.
Absolutely.
And very egotistical. Oh, you're all
Absolutely.
about yourself. And you're like, no, it's not me about myself. It's bettering myself and others.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, exactly.
Be without ego as much as possible. And they say,
That's sometimes really
you're
hard.
a bodybuilder, how can you say that? But, I guess you'd have to live in my shoes. So.
Yeah, most
So
of
it's
the
humbling.
bodybuilding
It's
community is
humbling.
very humble, kind people.
Sure.
And it's shocking to see. I've seen some people admit that I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never wanted. I hope that dude loses.
You both
But-
have both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, but I'm
Absolutely.
telling you, it's and to be really honest, I mean, of what I've heard on the outside of this community, I've got some friends and they say, man, you're one of the nicest guys they met in the field.
Great.
So I mean, that carries along. That's a spiritual welfare for them too. When you're competing right next to them. And they're loving you and they respect you. I mean, that's that
Feels
camaraderie you get also in that field. Especially with you powerlifting.
Oh, yeah.
And with the camaraderie in your area.
Oh, I get a lot of people that, oh, you can't bench that, oh, you can't do that. And it just comes with it. I mean, that's what comes with it. They look at me and they're like, oh no, you're too small. There's no way. I get that all the time. All the time.
I think in MMA especially, sometimes you get a misconception about the fighters because they try to hype up the fights, and what people don't realize is, that's how they make their living. It's like they have to sell these fights, and so you could get in somebody's face, you could stare them down, pretend like you really don't like them, when in all reality, you don't have any beef with that guy.
It's a show.
It's business. It's a show. You're doing what you're doing, and so then when people come up to you, they're like, "You're super nice." Why?
It shocks them.
It shocks them, but they don't seem to understand that's how it works.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to be a jerk to do MMA, to be a bodybuilder, to do any of that. Like, you can be humble. They just have to understand in some sports, some things sell more than others.
I'm really curious, and this is all three of you guys can really help on this. We talked, you were part of it, we talked about nutrition last time. It was about the average person coming in the gym that doesn't have nutrition basics. So the group we're talking here has an average concept of, okay, well, if I cut out my carbs, I'm not going to go with the fad diet. But if I cut out my carbs and I add my complex carbs and I do my rice and I do all my stuff that I'm supposed to eat, I can lose weight. But that's the guy that's been in here a while, but they're not to that next level. So what would you guys suggest? Like, what is idea shift that those people can take? And I think in the realm that you're in, the realm that you were in, it's athlete. You become an athlete. It's not just a guy working out. It's dedication.
Sure. So
what would you have to switch? You think that you switched before to see the biggest change switching now to nutrition?
So these people have somewhat of a concept already about what they're doing. They think anyway, nutrition, and a lot of people think they have a concept, but really, I mean, we live in a day of information. You've got a cell phone in your hand every day. It's so simple to learn these concepts, to go in there and okay, so learn about macronutrients, learn about micronutrients, what you need, when you need, what you need.
You told me earlier
That's
that point that a lot of people get wrong.
Sure, it's when you need what you need. A lot of times you're supplementing a certain nutrition, it might not be, the timing might not be right. So all these things are easy to learn, but it's like anything else. You want to learn something, you're going to put the time and the effort into it. People do what they want to do. It's a simple statement, but it makes a lot of sense. If you want to get to that next level, then do a little research. It's common knowledge, anymore. So take some time.
So what was do you think the biggest? And please, guys, pipe in too. I'm curious about this. So you talked about timing. So what would be a good example of like switching out the right food or adding the right food at the right time? What would be like, for example, morning?
Okay.
You know, the average person wakes up, if they even eat breakfast, and they'll eat a sausage burrito, and then they'll eat so for example, we talked last time, okay? In the last video, we talked about people going to their macros, right? They're doing that MyFitnessPal, and then they go, man, I'm 100 macros down. I'm great. I'm gonna go have that ice cream.
For the sake of it.
Yeah, and so
Imagine that.
yeah, so they can mention macros and like, I want to do so great, but then they're really setting themselves up for defeat. So what do you think? And I even talk to these guys in the weight room. They're cool guys.
Sure.
They're heavy lifters. They're strong. But then you hear what they eat,
Right.
and then they tell you, oh, I still own every now and then. I
Sure.
struggle every now and then. What would be like, for example, for breakfast? Would you guys suggest maybe changing out or adding to really go to that next level to what you guys are in?
That's all right.
So, I mean, like when I was doing it, it became, you know, people may think, oh, I'm going to load up. Some people think, oh, for this particular thing, I'm going to load up on carbs for breakfast. I'm going to do this. It really just, you know, I always ate something really small before I do cardio in the morning.
So like a protein or what would
yeah,
you do? Okay.
some sort of protein that was small. And then after that, I would eat a larger meal just to kind of fill myself up for the day, give myself the energy, knowing I was going to work out again later, because I would do at least 2 days, you know, two times a day. I needed that fuel for my body after the fact. I had enough to get through a little bit of cardio and then have enough to get through the rest of the day, knowing I was going to work out really hard later. And I think people are so kind of wound up on, like you said, okay, I've got this many left. I mean, this book, okay, they filled their macros, they don't seem to understand all the other things that are involved as well. So
Our guest next week. Pray for us. We might get the lowest views. So anyways, continue.
So they, you know, okay, well I ate this and it was, you know, let's say I had 50 carbs in this meal. Well, they don't seem to pay attention to the fact, yeah, you also had 30 grams of sugar in that meal.
Yes.
And that can kill your body, even if you met your goal.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, there are specific answers to your question, but you know, people are coming from different angles.
Yeah.
You know, so everybody's coming from a different angle. Some people are losing weight and trying to slim down, and they're trying to burn as much fat as possible and transition. And then you've got, like you said, guys who are interested in maybe bodybuilding or growing their physique. So their philosophy is a little different, you know. So all these concepts are simple ones, and you know, it's easy to explain if you know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So you know.
So like from your world,
Sure.
like what would someone tweak if they struggle? You're like let's say, for example, I don't mean to be rude, but like a sort of a more pudgier guy. He's like, I'm gonna be a fantastic power lifter, but he eats waffles for breakfast every morning.
Sure.
You know, he's like, I'm dirty bulking. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So what would be like something he could change, for example, just to say, oh my gosh, I'm doing it all wrong.
So this guy's a power lifter?
Yeah, he wants to be a bodybuilder eventually.
Okay, so he wants to
eats waffles.
transition.
Yeah.
So the philosophies, first of all, of bodybuilding and powerlifting are completely different.
Exactly. Totally.
Okay, so you know, powerlifting people, you know, these people are training to get stronger and make these moves faster and you know, quickly getting stronger. So bodybuilding is the complete opposite. We're uncomfortable over time. You know, that's how we're gonna do our job. So it's completely different, and a lot of people you'll see training both ways because they don't understand the concepts. Which that's okay. You know, you live and you learn. And like I said, over time, these things become intuitive because you know you're picking people's mind around the gym here and there. And if you're in the gym to be that next level athlete, you're going to be talking.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to be meeting people, and you're going to get a lot of input, a lot of opinions. But like I said before, there are specific answers to these questions, and if people just kind of, you know, do what little research you need to do to get your foot in the door, you know, or to get that next step up, you know, because it's going to take some effort. But more than anything, you got to believe you can do it, and you can do it. Anybody can do it.
That's the challenge.
Anyone can do it.
Believe in yourself.
Anyone can do it.
And then, you know, it's interesting. So from my world, I went from, and my body was just so confused. I went from complete CrossFit competition training. So when I lived in Egypt, I was doing 6 hours a day. In the morning, Olympic lifts. At night, 3 CrossFit workouts in a row. And I was pumping out all the paleo, very low carbs, all grains, everything strict, trying to get my body where it was. And then I was like, hey, I'm gonna become an Olympic lifter. And so I started eating like an Olympic lifter. And so I started pounding on more of the carbs. And my body had to adjust to it.
Right.
Then I realized I'm gonna become a power lifter. Then I realized I talked to a guy. He's the world's he's in the world's strongest man group. Amazing dude. I said, give me what you do. I want to try doing powerlifting. I need to get strong at what I do. Can you help me? He goes, the first thing I do in the morning is I eat 16 eggs. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Right before you work out, I'm going to throw up. He goes, no, it's a different concept. You're not busting your rear 1,000 miles an hour in your workout.
Right.
You're fueling it. He goes, and eat watermelon. If I did that through my CrossFit workout, I'd be vomiting everywhere.
Sure, right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I think you hit the nail on the head. You have to train sports specific.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Sports specific at it. And I think the biggest confusion ever in the realm that we're in is nutrition.
Absolutely.
And that's what's going to make you succeed or fail.
Without a doubt, we live in a world today where food is processed. They make sure food gets to market. That's all these manufacturers care about. They want food to get to market, but there are healthy choices, and there are ways for you to find those healthy choices. But you need to, once again, do your research.
Yeah.
We live in like I said, a time where food's not the best.
Yeah.
So, but you can pick and choose.
And it's very accessible.
It's very accessible.
I can just go to Burger
you
King
can get
and
all
eat
the
whatever
bad
I want
food
or
you
Taco
want.
Bell.
You can get all the bad food you want all day long. But I tell you, over time, it starts to take a toll on a person. And sedentary people, or people that are just doing enough to get by, over time, you kind of pay the price. So that's important. You want to get away from as much processed food as possible, as much fried food as possible.
Exactly.
Everybody loves it, but
And I think
too much of anything is
a bad thing, and that's where you hear a lot of. And I've delved in this for a long time. I've trained a lot of power lifters for a really long time, and one thing that I would always fight with them on is their bulking. Because when they hear bulking, it's for the 1970s dirty bulking.
Sure.
I'm gonna eat a pizza. I'm gonna eat a burger. Forget a salad. I mean, I need to get big. And then I'll trim down.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they'll go the 800 calorie way and just do treadmill at a walking pace where they'll die. You know?
Right.
So what is your thought now on, is there actually a true theory of clean bulking to where you can eat cleaner and actually still bulk?
Well,
you know what I mean? To gain the size, maybe not as much tone. But is that a myth, or is that what do you guys think? Is that a true thing of actually having what's called clean bulking? Because a lot of people just say, well, I'm bulking, I'm going to go eat a burger.
Sure.
And I think that can't be true.
I think you see more of it these days than you did in the past, where a guy's just covering his macros, regardless of how he's doing that. Hey, cover my carbs, cover my protein, regardless of what that food might be. And maybe if you're on another level, over a period of time, you might be able to operate that way for a little bit. But that's not, you're not going to sustain that, over time.
Yeah.
So yeah, the healthier the food, the better for your body. That's always going to be the case.
And I think it causes people fear. They say, if
Absolutely.
I eat good, I'm not going to be able to get as strong as I was before.
Well, I don't, and I think it does play more to the myth side.
Okay.
You're going to get different answers from different people, but I don't know. You might touch on it.
I mean, I did a competition in Iowa where I had to cut down. I did a 220 weight class. I want to cut down to 182 weight class. So, fish and chicken, veggies every night. Clean breakfast in the morning. Hard cardio in the day, and
I'd
I
be
cut
so
down.
bored.
It was, but I was able to cut down, and I made weight. now I was weaker.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I was not as strong, but I'm still able to do it, and I'm still able to win too.
And that's what always astounded me, because I kind of bounced between 3 different weight classes. And so when I get the call, hey, we got something at 170, you're sitting at 155 right now. Everybody's first reaction, and mine included when I first started, was, man, I can eat whatever I want.
Right.
I can stuff myself. Well, then you stuff yourself, you're not going to perform like
You're not going to have that energy fuel.
And that got cut real quick because they're like, look, this is not, you're not eating Burger King or Arby's or whatever you think. We're, chicken, fish, rice, greens, like we are going to, it was brutal.
You'll end up like, what's that big old boy that's a redneck that does MMA? What's his name?
Roy Nelson?
And the one that just body slams everybody has a big beer.
It is, but it was all clean food. It was just massive amounts to try because I had a limited time.
If you're gonna do it, if you're gonna do it the right way.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I love to eat, and everyone deserves the best. I love
It's
it.
the shortcuts that people want to go for.
Absolutely, you got to do it the right way, and you can do it the right way, and it'll be substantial.
Yeah. And so I guess first of all, thank you for coming on. I mean, this has been
My
fantastic. But I wanted to please let people know a little bit about like, what's happening soon with you.
Sure.
I want people to know like what is big happening and like what could be the implications of when you do this, what can happen in the future very
Sure,
if you don't mind saying.
Absolutely. Well, I'm competing on the national level in about a month.
Okay.
And so it's a pretty big deal. I had to kind of qualify for this event. So on the national level, I'm kind of getting up there. So I'm really excited. If I can place well in Pittsburgh, and we can maybe get that professional status. That's what I'm hoping for.
That professional ticket, yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I've been doing this for going on 10 years. 9.5 years I've been training.
So it's not an easy just boom.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
Anything worth having. We all know it's not. It's not
Dedication.
Easy. Dedication. 100%. Thousands. For me, thousands of days of training. Many months. I think I counted it was 122 months or something like that. So it's persistence.
I do 122 minutes and I'm done.
That's what scares people. But I tell you, for me, it's been the journey. I never knew this would become what I did. So it's been fun along the way, and so I'm excited.
And so if you do well here, then
well here, maybe we can get that pro status, and I'd love to compete on the pro level.
So are you going to be doing masters, or what are you going to be doing?
This will be the masters.
Okay.
This will be the top guys in the country in my age group. I competed.
Which is what, like 21, right?
We're 25-ish. So I'm 40, and so I'm going to compete in a couple different classes.
It's sad that we're masters now and we're 40.
Hey, I feel great for 40.
Yeah.
So I definitely I feel about the way I did in my mid-20s.
That's great.
I feel great.
So, is there anything that people can look up and follow you on? And
Sure, you can check me out on
attracted?
Instagram, Eddie Wilson Official, Eddie Wilson Classic, and I'm on Facebook, and we'll be doing some YouTube videos after the show. We're going to get together, me and a pro friend of mine. We're going to make some videos and get YouTube going. So.
Awesome.
So yeah, we've got some stuff coming up. So it's exciting.
Oh, so with you guys too, I mean, what we do is we usually do like a parting kind of anything you want to add.
Right.
So from your guys' field, anyone can pipe in, what is one thing you can tell a viewer listening that's like, I'm going to be an Eddie, or I'm going to be a Nathan, or I'm going to be a Kyle. Oh, well, maybe not you. We don't know. So what could you guys all add in?
Sure.
One thing that would be like, holy crap, I need to start doing that now to go to the next level. If it's in the gym, if it's eating, whatever. What would you say?
I would say, for sure, on the eating spectrum, if you were looking to get into MMA, be prepared to be really strict. And unfortunately, bouncing around depending on where you're at, making weight is a very hard thing. So kind of prepping your body to be able to make that weight, and make it in a good way, not so much an unhealthy way where you have to lose 20 pounds a week.
Yeah.
So adjusting the nutrition, understanding that there is going to be a lot of endurance, it is going to be hard, and everything's very fast-paced, and just shred that weight.
In mine, I would say get a good program, train hard, don't get discouraged about, not getting your goals or getting your weights and stuff. Keep at it and work hard and you'll get there. It's not something that happens, powerlifting is not something that happens overnight. It takes years to get really big and get really strong at it, so.
Sure, yeah. Well, you're going to have people who support you. Definitely, you're always going to have good people around you, in the gym atmosphere. But there are going to be people who talk you down. You're going to hear a lot of that. Don't let people discourage you with anything you want to do. Set your goals, do your thing. Don't live in your ego, and I promise you'll benefit from that. So don't let people discourage you. Do what you do, and don't worry about what other people think. Just do your best.
And I think the big thing is enjoy the process.
Absolutely.
It's a journey. I mean, we live this one body, we live this one life,
True.
on this earth. And so you can be around the people that are negative. You can not embrace the suck is what a lot of military people say when they're in the middle of the moment, and you cannot eat right, and your life's gonna be miserable. You can blame it on everybody else, but what it comes down to is you.
Sure.
You know,
Choices.
you can look at everybody else's mirror
Yeah.
and say, hey, I want to be them, but you don't look in the mirror and go, I want to be me. I want to be the best me I can be. And so I think, you know,
Absolutely.
it's the big key is at the end is we got to make sure that we're healthy. So yeah. So first of all, man, thank you so much for coming
My
on.
pleasure.
It was a pleasure.
My pleasure.
And you know, we're going to be seeing the future pro right here. So guys, go on to his social media links, his Instagram. We will be posting some links on Facebook.
Thank you
and
for
then,
your support. I appreciate everybody, all the good people that have always been inspirational, motivational to me. I appreciate you, I promise.
So and the community loves him. Community loves him. So now we're going to be next week. We're going to get Eric, the big man, on our podcast.
Bigger than me?
No, he's big ego more than anything. Just kidding. Don't fire me. So you know, we're going to be talking more about what does it look like to be in pure wellness, to be at that level where these guys are at their peak moments, what it looks like. And then what it is to maintain and stay there. And so, and maybe even look at, well, am I there or am I not there? So those are the things we're going to talk about next week. So stay tuned, and thanks for checking out the YFit podcast.